you.
Wow. So I guess we're ready. You wanna call the roll, please?
Alderman Moore, Alderman Vaccaro,
Present.
Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Howard,
Present.
Alderman Muhammad, Chairman Davis,
Present.
President Reed,
Here.
Alderman Moore, Alderman Cone, Alderman Muhammad, 4 present, you have a quorum.
Thank you. The Transportation Committee today is going to review 3 bills. We'll start off with Board Bill number 208, and I'm going to let you move forward and then give us explanations, and we will work as hastily as possible.
Okay, so first I want to apologize in advance that the director could not be here today. It was a vacation day for her. However, for the veteran transportation and TNC committee members, this is something that we do annually. This is a transfer that we make from our debt service stabilization fund into our airport revenue, general revenue funds, to maintain a reasonable debt service coverage ratio and also to mitigate rates. Approval was received from the comptroller prior to this request, and then, of course, it also was approved by the airport commission. So this, like I said, this is just an annual request. It's also required by our airport use and lease agreement that became effective July 2016, and it was also one of the items that we would do annually when we had our airport use and agreement that was effective July 2011. So at this time, I respectfully request your approval of this transfer from our debt service stabilization fund.
I make a motion to afford board
And I'll
bill.
second it.
It's been moved in second. Will you please call the roll?
Alderman Moore, Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad, Chairman Davis,
Aye.
President Reed,
Aye.
Alderman Moore, Alderman Cone, Alderman Muhammad, 4 yes votes.
And
Thank you.
I'm fine with previous rule on the balance of this.
Thank you.
I have to go back over.
All righty. So our next board bill is Board Bill 209. And this is a second amendment to fuel the system lease agreement law. And so this is another basic board bill, and I'll let you go ahead and give a brief explanation.
Yes, Alderman, Alderwoman, we're very excited. This second amendment to the fuel system lease agreement calls for the airline consortium at their cost to relocate the existing fuel farm. They will relocate the existing fuel farm from right here across from Terminal 1, and it will go right here on the north side of the airfield up in this corner on airport on land. And they will also then connect a new fuel farm in with pipelines to the existing fuel loops for the hydrants to fuel the aircraft. And we expect that the new fuel farm will to be built within 48 months of the effective date of the Second Amendment. And as part of that, they also have 30 months after that date to decommission the existing fuel farm, which includes all the environmental remediation. This Second Amendment also extends the term. The term commenced January 1st, 2012, and will, by the Second Amendment, will extend 30 years from the effective date of the Second Amendment, plus the consortium also has 2 5-year option periods. The rent, when the existing fuel farm is decommissioned and the replacement fuel farm opens, the rent will actually go down on the facility, and that is because it'll be a ground rent only. We won't be renting them improvements anymore. They will be taking out the improvements and they will build all new improvements in that area. The new rent will be $274,115 annually. As I said, all cost in building this fuel farm, the replacement fuel farm and decommissioning the old fuel farm will be up to the airline consortium to handle all the cost, and it's an estimated $50 million project. So it's a significant investment in the airport. We're very happy with this, and we respectfully request your approval.
Any questions? Go right ahead.
Is this, in other words, right now they rent from us and they rent the equipment also? So
Yes.
they'll be providing the new equipment on the new fuel pump?
Exactly, they're building it all new.
And the reason for this relocation?
Is that the old fuel farm was built in 1960,
Uh-huh.
and it's an below ground facility. And with a lot of changes to environmental regulations and everything else, we want an above ground storage facility on this side.
Okay. Now, will the remediation affect the coming and going of airplanes?
No, the remediation is on the fuel farm, and they're gonna use the existing fuel loops and pipeline. They're going through a project now, as a matter of fact, where they're doing a lot of improvements. They're moving gate by gate to
Okay.
improve the hydrant system.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
All right.
What is the percentages for minority and women businesses and 30 million? Or is it 30 million pretty much just the companies?
That's all on their investment, sir. It's a lease agreement. so.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Anything else? Okay, can we, I'll
Move
take a
that
motion.
Previous roll.
So
Move for to
move.
pass,
Second,
Second.
and you asked for previous.
previous roll.
Board Bill 210 is next.
We're requesting your approval of an assignment agreement for our parking operator. The parking operator currently is ABM Parking Services, and they operate 5 surface parking lots for us and 2 garages, along with the terminal shuttle system. They've set up a new corporate entity, ABM Aviation Incorporated. We're approving their assignment of the parking operation agreement from ABM Parking Services to ABM Aviation Incorporated. There are no other changes involved with the agreement, and the new agreement, the new company takes on all the responsibilities of the old company. We respectfully request your approval.
I make a motion. Oh, you didn't ask for questions, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I have a question very quickly. So, and I think I may have even had a question when we talked about this before. We still have concerns about the participation on this contract. And, are we actually doing anything about it yet?
Yes, and I can tell you, we've spoken to Amber Gooding, who's the Assistant Director of the Airport Business Diversity Department. The way this contract is set up by the FAA regulation, it has to go by ACDBE participation. And ACDBE participation is scheduled against the gross receipts. And the gross receipts are about $27 million. This is an operating agreement, it's not a concession. It is, we only handle their operating budget of $9.7 million. And we control their budget, we control what they spend and how they spend it. And when you take it down to the $9.7 million, Amber believes it calculated out their actual participation to about 15%. And they continue to work with them to increase it, but they said they're also very happy with that percentage at 15%. They said ABM has been very responsive. You know, once you take away the labor and things like that they have in their operating budget, they use a lot of MBEs and WBEs for their body work on their shuttles. So all the snow removal and striping and things like that they do for us on the lot, all of that sort of work is used MBEs and WBEs.
Okay. Well, somewhere along the line, I hope that we have the opportunity to reflect that 15% that you talked about,
Okay.
because right here it shows less than 1%.
Right, it shows less than 1% because, and we've had a discussion with Amber about it, is that the way the FAA and they set up the ACDBE, that has to be against the gross receipts. And that 0.86% that you see is against the gross receipts of the operation. The 15% that Amber sees is against the operating budget, the money that they actually spend on the operation. This is a little bit of an outlier. A lot of airports do this as actual concessions. We don't do that. We have a parking operator agreement where we control all their expenditures, we control their budget, and then we take all of the profits instead of just a percentage of the profits.
Okay. We'll probably address this later on. I just have real issues when I can't identify some, what I consider to be common sense level of participation.
I understand, and I'm sure Amber would be glad to explain to you a better way than she explained it with me and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the time frame on Madam Chairman,
Right here,
yeah,
sir.
what's the time frame for this contractor getting this out? Is there something you need today, or
No, the assignment agreement, I think we could wait on the assignment agreement. That doesn't really impact the,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really
Yeah.
impact the contract because the contract still is going to be effective to November 30th, 2019.
yeah, and everything else goes.
Okay.
what was wrong on
So one of the things that we were discussing here on Board Bill 210 is actual participation. And this shows less than 1%, but there's another method and process behind the scenes that we don't see that says that there's 15% minority participation. But we want to be able to reflect that with a little bit more transparency. And most especially, even when I look at, I think I talked about this at the commission meeting, about the body shops that are available that are minority and all of that.
Stepney
Yeah.
Brothers is minority, isn't it?
It is,
It is.
but you see 0.21%. So if there's other services that are being provided by minorities, I think it's better to show us something in a different way. And so,
Didn't I vote against a similar thing on, like this, what, 2 meetings ago?
yeah, you did.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. So, or maybe, when you talk about the proposed, so the potential is that, say, for example, the auto body could possibly provide 20.21%, but in the past, they have not provided that much service because I guess there just wasn't the need, is
There
that
hasn't
correct?
been the need. I know that they, and Amber was specifically following up with Stepney, because they have followed up with these companies in the past to talk about participation. By they, I mean the Business Diversity Office. And they've had discussions with Stepney, and Stepney has said that they have been in contact with ABM and had done some bits of work, but I don't know if it's actually enough when you start to talk about the massive numbers and the percentages,
Right,
that it actually gets to that.
okay.
yeah?
I know they don't use this, I know they don't use any certified firms in that
Right,
kind of.
right,
regard.
right. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
if I
sir.
may, I would recommend you hold this one and set up a time where they can come and sit with you and walk through those numbers. We'd be happy, I'd be happy to, to make motion to do that, but I think that you should just, that we should do it without laying it on the table, because then you would need a greater percentage of the vote to take it back off the table. But, and then take it up as soon as we get back. I mean, it's only 2-3 weeks from now, so.
I'm okay with that. I just feel, when you talk about spending that much money,
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, the actual is 0, or actual is a 0.03%, just doesn't add up.
May I interject something?
Yeah.
Just real quick. When you talk about the monies, the 0.86, that's not against anything expended. That's against the revenue of the gross receipts of the parking operation. So, $27 million is what I believe the gross receipts were. And that's when you start to talk about, that's where you start to get those low percentages, when it's against the gross receipts of the parking
That's
operation.
even worse.
Okay.
I know you think you explained something to me, but that's
Maybe
even
not.
worse.
yeah.
It really is.
The percentages are going to be lower because the actual amount of expenses is somewhere around $9 million. So
Okay.
when you're trying to do something where the numerator is going higher, then the percentages are going to be lower. Your fractions are gonna go lower. Whereas if you actually calculated it against the actual expenses, which is $9 million, you will see that this 0.0 is much higher than that. It's actually more like maybe 2, 3, maybe even 5%.
Yeah, but that's still,
And that's how we get to 15.
but to the chairwoman's point, even on that actual side with the lower denominator, you're still talking substandard percentages.
But we're being forced to do the calculation. I think it's a false
I mean,
calculation.
you-
It shouldn't be, it
Take
should
the-
be based
take it-
upon
take-
revenue.
But taking the real calculation from Amber, you know, even those numbers aren't, you know, you're not knocking it out of the park with those numbers. So I just think that you know, to the chairwoman's point, you know, I think that the airport, whoever it is on the airport side and the contractor side, should come spend some time with her, to have her take a look at those numbers. I mean, and, you know, the length of time that we would have to wait is negligible. We're right here up against the holidays.
So
Madam Chair.
it's my understanding that this contract isn't even due for another 2 years anyway.
On the renewals, yes, sir, that's
So
correct.
they're there for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So we have
Yeah.
to,
we got more than enough
I
time.
really wanna work on this.
Madam Chair, I would like to maybe bring Amber
Amber, yeah.
before us, because I would like better understanding of what's
Yeah.
going on here.
Yeah.
I'm not real comfortable, and you're bringing up questions that I don't know, and I don't know what I don't know.
I
guess That's
understand.
what I'm saying.
So we'll hold Board Bill 210, and when we come back after the first of the year, you can share with Amber that we'd like to have a conversation about this. And I know you have to do calculations a certain way, but I think it's better that I understand it better. And also, I know we talked about making sure that we have more people participating, and not just with this particular contract, but we gotta do better. So, I think
I think
We all
overall,
need a-
better understanding. would
having a
come
better
out of this.
understanding will work.
We will set that up.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Oh, motion
Thank
to
you.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Do I have a second? All in favor, aye.
Yeah.
So just so I understand,
Just a minute.
so 210,
You all have a nice day.
what's his name, Strong?
Did they vote
What's his first
that
name?
out, or?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
Um,
All right.